Oh, really? I got a soft pivot.
Okay, go soft.
About AOC.
Sure.
Not to bash on her. She had a tweet. She said, "Things were bad for me, so they should stay bad for everyone else is not a good argument against debt cancellation, student, medical, or otherwise. Hashtag cancel student debt." And I thought that was just such a mischaracterization of the reason why people don't think you should cancel student debt. It's like, everyone who thinks that we should not cancel student debt is saying things are bad for me, so they should stay bad. It's like, no, like, and she put it in quotes. It's like, this isn't the counter argument to why you shouldn't cancel student debt. The reason is because if you're going to use billions or trillions of dollars for the good of the United States, this is not the most effective way to do it. It's just what sounds good and gets you people's votes.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's not just her. I've seen this nonstop. People almost never engage with the strongest form of the opposing argument.
Yeah.
Ever. It's crazy. They're just not interested. What they want is, it's like, oh, Republicans, I think that Donald Trump should be emperor forever. Or it's Democrats like, oh, let's shut down all businesses till the end of time. It's just, it's not, I almost never hear anyone sincerely engage with the strongest version of a belief opposing theirs that they could find. And it's a shame.
No, that was my only thought. I was like, no, I don't know anyone whose argument for not canceling student debt is I had to pay my student debt, so you should too. It's if the government's going to intervene with trillions of dollars, this is a very arbitrary, silly way to do it.
Yeah. Well, let's talk student debt. I think it's an interesting idea. It was a tongue-in-cheek tweet. I forget from who, but it might have been Ben Shapiro. He was like, my solution to canceling student debt is to demand that colleges offer refunds. And that, I was like, obviously it's not real, but I like the sentiment behind it, which is if you're unsatisfied with your purchase at the end of this, you should get your money back, which is what many other businesses have to do.
That's what Charisma University
now,
does.
of course, there's a lot of upfront costs and it wouldn't practically work. But I think if you were to cancel student debt, you would only accelerate what is already happening, which is the increasing cost of college and the decreasing value and utility that it provides. And I don't just mean economic. When it's completely divorced from the way that the world outside of it works. And I was a prime experiencer of this. I went in, took out a load of debt, bigger than I could handle. My parents had to, like, literally, I couldn't take more to go through and get a philosophy degree, which I really enjoyed. And then a business degree, which was really fun to drink to on Monday through Saturday night. And if you had canceled that debt, I would have continued to live in this fantasy world of things happened to me and you forced me in here. And it was only through the really crappy experience of trying to get jobs that I hated and then working in jobs that I hated and scrounging up enough to start a business that, that good things started to happen in terms of the way that I was approaching the world, because I was now dealing with it as it is and not with bumpers.
No, and I actually think there's an argument to be made that every state should have one free college, let's say. That's a state school, not a community college. And you're like, okay, going forward, we want to make education's important and we want to make it free.
Can I catch you right now?
Sure.
This is what colleges have done is they have the most ridiculously powerful marketing campaign, which is they've conflated what they do with education.
No, I agree.
And it's just, I can't believe they have ownership over that word. Like Google, Khan Academy.
Yeah.
Like mentors, they're all out there. But education is free. So go ahead.
Okay, if they want to make college degrees free, let's say.
College degrees.
I think that's a separate argument. But the idea to retroactively cancel debt just seems so crazy to me, because there's people who chose not to take it on, and like maybe they wanted to be writers, but instead they became carpenters. And to penalize that person seems like a very, very odd system.
Yeah.
And also to say that the person that is the most in need is anyone with college debt is also crazy to me. Like we have $2 trillion. We're going to make the world a better place. So what I'm going to do is, no matter what your income is, no matter what your family background is, if you have student debt, I'm going to pay it off for you.
Let's just assume that it's, let's give the strongest version of this argument, that it's not rich families, it's people.
Well, that's the thing. It's not.
It would be like I was, quite frankly, which is I had over $100,000 worth of debt. My parents could not help me with it. And I was saddled with a bill of $1,000 a month, $1,200 a month for 10 years.
And we're making mid
I started
five figures.
I started
as a consultant.
Well, no, and I was probably even maybe above it. I
That's what I'm
started
saying.
at 60K.
I would exclude you for that reason.
Sure.
You would not be. So cancel.
So you know what I would have done then? I would have looked for a job that paid me 40K.
This is
why the amount that I made after taxes.
This is why I think it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, if you have $2 trillion, you're going to ignore the homeless. You're going to ignore people who have PTSD from wars, but you're going to go to the guy who's in investment banking that makes $200,000 a year and has student debt. That's how you're going to spend $200,000 to make the world a better place, because he has $200,000 of loans because he went to Wharton Business School or Stanford. I'm just like, this cannot possibly be the most efficient way to make America better. $200,000 for one person who already has a 6-figure job.
Yeah. I think that what I would like to do is with us is we have free educational videos. Now they're about charisma and hopefully they help people's lives. They may or may not impact your bottom line intake, but I love what Sal Khan is doing. I love people that are disrupting this argument without engaging in let's redistribute money or let's vote for it. It's like, can we just get people powerful information and education for free?
Oh, I forget his
for
name.
Very low cost.
There's an MIT physics professor who is probably the best physics professor in the world, and he gives his lectures online for free. It's like, even if I'm at University of Pennsylvania and I'm taking physics, it's still going to be worse than this guy.
Yeah.
And his stuff's on YouTube for free.
Yeah. I would love to see, and this might be a take that a lot of people don't like, but having gone through the college system and enjoyed my time there, I really enjoyed studying philosophy. People always go, but didn't you have a great time? Didn't you learn a lot? And the answer is yes, but it wasn't worth $120,000 and 4 years. Like it had a cost that was associated. It was 5 years actually, because I went to 1 year of grad school. But I really want to see a lot of colleges go out of business. I think that we can't prop them up, and we act like we're propping up the students. What we're propping up is this ridiculous system of everyone in your life. There's an excellent article written by The Last Psychiatrist where he talks about what a college education is. It's for the first 17 years of your life, everyone tells you have to have one. You're nobody if you don't have them. You're not smart. You're not going to make it. So these young, impressionable kids go in, and then they go and they tell you can study whatever you want when you're in there. You pick your degree as long as you're fascinated by it. And then you graduate and you go, okay, time to pay. And the kids can't. And so the colleges now, they can't collect on their debt, and we bail them out by giving the kids money, which immediately goes to the college. It's like, how much money does that kid get? None. He just gets his debt canceled. So I really would like to see these colleges go out of business. I'd like to see them dip into their endowments for debt forgiveness for their worst off students. I dislike them tremendously, and I'm sure that there's room for some to remain, but the bloat is because we have a propaganda machine and quite frankly, the federal government made it so easy for me to take out 8% loans.
I was going to say, you could just, if you want to do debt forgiveness, why not just change the rule that says you can't go bankrupt on student debt and let people do the math on would I rather have personal bankruptcy, which by the way, the only penalty is it makes it harder to get credit in the future. So, okay, you're a person who can't afford your student loans. This means you can't afford to get a mortgage. You're going to have to rent. I rent. It's not the end of the world. In exchange, you get to go bankrupt, and you get to, like any other person with any other business purchase or any other car purchase, say, I don't have the money to pay you back. And then the universities might be on the hook for going, oh, wow, I let a bunch of people with no money say they would owe me $100,000.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's people don't know this necessarily. I mean, if you're in it, you know it, that you can basically bankrupt your way out of any sort of debt. I mean, Chapter 11 restructuring, that's what's happening right now with Guitar Center. Hey, we can't pay it back. How about we give you 40 cents on the dollar? Okay, we'll take it. Doesn't happen with student loans. They go after your next kin. They go after, if you die, they go to your mom and your dad. It's a racket.
And it's one of the only pieces of debt.
One of the only things.
If you just treated it like a business loan, banks would be much more hesitant to give every kid $120,000, regardless of grades or major. And then the colleges would have to adjust their prices because you wouldn't be able to charge every person an exorbitant amount of money.
Yes, it's awful. And so I didn't know a lot about percentages and loans and anything like that. One, they make it super smooth, but the loans that I got were at 8% and 6.25%. Now, if you know about investing, 8% is the average yearly return of the S&P 500.
I think higher.
Or is it?
I think that's higher.
You think 8% is higher?
Yeah.
I thought 8% was okay. The point is, guaranteed debt that follows you at that That's unreal.
Yeah.
What if, I mean, I would take that every day.
I would love to
You're
issue
gonna
that.
guarantee
By the way, I
me
think
8%?
it's illegal for me to issue. I can't give Justin a loan. Say, by the way, the only thing you have to do is sign it. If you die or you don't have any money, it goes to your parents. If they die, it goes to your grandparents. Only if all of your relatives are dead do you get out of this. I think the government would say that that's not a term I can put into a loan.
Yeah,
I can't charge this 8%.
I don't know. But yeah, it was 8 and 6.25% were the loans that I had. I mean, that is incredible.
Yeah.
And I didn't know. I'm like just a dumb kid. And don't worry, we won't start collecting until you get a job. Thanks, guys. But in any event, so that's college tech platforms. Is there anything else that you wanted to say on the debt college side?
No. I guess the only thing I was thinking is it's interesting how there are potentially like nuanced solutions to all this, but the only one that is gaining traction is cancel all student debt.
It won't happen is the other thing. I mean, we're talking about it as an idea, but there's approximately 0% chance that it happens. So it's interesting to discuss. There's no chance that it happens. And just for everybody out there that might be disagreeing, I really am pro free education, but I think that the way that the model is run is that it's actually rather weak education, and it's absolutely not free. And we're just encouraging the price of it to go up for a crappier product. We can do way better with the technology that exists today.
Yeah. And I'm pro helping people. I just think that canceling all student debt is a very inefficient way to help people.
Yep. Hope that you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to see more like this and have us do more podcasts, we are 100% funded by our generous patrons. And if you'd like to contribute, there's a link in the description, and we'll have one pop up on the screen right here so that we can do more podcasts where we have fun conversations and hopefully some deep ones like this. Either way, hope that you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.